Listen.
Do you mind if I put my 2 cents in?
No, honey, I don't mind.
Call the police immediately.
I don't get it.
No idea what you're talking about. Yes? Hello? Hi, stranger.
I want ham and eggs and flapjacks with lots of butter and syrup and coffee. I'll take the coffee now.
Why have you come with me? Rain.
Where's my dough?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Live in the Morning with your host, Chuck Allen, your host, Uncle Freezy, kicking it with you on a Friday, the 13th. Anybody feeling unlucky today?
Oh, wow. Good. Friday the 13th. Oh, wow. Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest today, Soul Finger number 12.
What it do? Top
and
of the
Ghetto Intellect, the CFO.
Bim.
Yo, top of the morning to you, amazing gentlemen and scholars. Unfortunately, I got to keep it in that order, though.
All right. So Chuck, there's something that I wanted to talk to you about. Actually, 2 things, right?
Okay.
So the 2 things that I want to bring to the table this morning, and I know we'll probably talk about an abundance of different conversation pieces, but I want to bring this one thing to the table, man. Can you be successful at hustling? Like, and I don't mean, I'm not specifying legal or illegal or whatever the flavor is, right? But I'm talking about, can you be successful as a grinder, or do you need that next level education, probably from some institution or something of that type, in order to be a businessman?
Okay.
And so I said that I should probably introduce it in a certain. Let me introduce that in our random thought, because that is my random thought, y'all. And I know we started random thoughts early. I'm gonna play the random thought thing, give Chuck some time to think about it, and then I'm gonna ask the question one more time.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry.
Oh,
that is the jam.
Yeah,
that is the jam. But Chuck and GI and Soul Finger 1212. I just want to ask this. Can you be successful as a hustler without that next level education, and maybe from a next level institution? Like, do you need to go to school?
Well, it depends on how you define what is success to you. I immediately, when you said that, I'm thinking of my Uncle Art. Uncle Art had a barbershop, a juke joint.
Right.
He had his own field with crops. He sold hogs.
Right.
And he did pretty good, man. Put all his kids through college. Nobody had to take out student loans.
Right.
And when he passed away, everybody got a good chunk of change. Like he owned land, and he only had a 5th grade education.
Okay. Hey, Gian, can you help me with this?
I can, and I need to give a little backstory, because it's a great question you ask, and you guys are gonna help me become a better father today as we talk it through and figure it out. Because there's no real right answer, but there's right protocols and approach to it.
Right.
So I am the first person in my family to graduate from college, and probably when I was around 20, I talked to my mom and said, "Yo, what is it about me that was different than everybody else in his family? Like none of y'all even talk about college. Y'all don't even really overexcited that I went." And my mother says, "Come here, son." She says, "I got involved with a very intelligent man whose family is from Bermuda, and they're not used. They never seen poverty, and he went to college. His brothers went to college. His mothers went to college. I had you with him." So we don't have a relationship with those people. So you're looking at us, but you know what? You got all your dad's DNA. What's going on with you? You're trying to relate it to this side of the family, and it won't. You got to understand you come with a greater greatness. So that's what broke my chain because of who my mother decided to have with me. So I got lucky, right? So it's genetic. With that said, I turned and said, all my kids, I have 6 children. 5, I have 5, 2 graduated from school. One's a senior, one's a sophomore. My senior just got a full ride to 3 of his top choices. Okay. But guys, that's
congratulations.
5. Thank you. But that's 5. And that's not the reason for this story. The 6th one came to us the last 3 weeks. He's fallen in love with Andrew Tate. I've been monitoring that because I just knew Andrew Tate, the kickboxer. I didn't know this other stuff. But he came to us and he's been hell-bent. He's in the gym. He's reaching you can see his manhood coming in. He says, under no circumstances am I going to college. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I ain't doing what the last 5. In fact, I'm telling you, I see what the other 5 ahead of me did. It ain't happening. I ain't going that route. So my only thing to them, Freezy, is yes, you can. And I'm going to nurture this young man to not go to college because he's hell-bent. I got to give it up. Can't send him to college, spend $50,000, and he come home. Nah, we're not doing that.
Right.
So my answer is this. Yes, you can be, but Freezy, you then have to be very special. You have to have a product that pierces the market. Right. And once you get a product that pierces the market, here's what's going to happen. Those who know business are going to come around you. And who I'm going to shut up now so everybody can cook, but Kanye West. Kanye West didn't know about the fashion industry. Kanye West, though, was the key fashion guy. And every time he come around and wore ripped clothes, he would look back and it'd be 3 million people wearing ripped clothes. So it connected for him. Holy cow. I am the fashion icon of this hip hop society. So he ran with it, created products. The only problem is Kanye then needed smart people around him who had the college education to help him get his product to market.
Right. So he was getting his education vicariously through others, basically. Like the people he surrounded himself with are those that went to school and could educate Kanye on business decisions
and navigate the deals for him.
Yeah. Soul Finger, you want to jump in on?
I was listening what G.I. was saying and everything, and what Chuck broke down, what you guys broke down. My pop was actually a hustler, and I learned that. And like I said, there's a little background on the Big Cat. My pop started out, he worked, had a high school education, and he had a stroke when I was a baby. So I was probably about, maybe when I was little, I was probably about 2 years old when he had a stroke, and they told him he'll never walk, talk.
Right.
He may be able to operate a wheelchair at best. Right. Well, Big Cat said, "All right, hold my beer," and he wound up, man taught himself how to write with his left hand because he's partially paralyzed on his right. taught herself how to walk, taught herself how to write, drove a car, cut grass, work on a car, shoot a gun. You know, I told you about that.
Right.
So, you know, he was retired from the railroad,
Right.
but he wound up running a bar.
Okay.
Had his own bar, ran a pool hall. You know, like I said, like with my brothers and my brother and all of us went to college.
Okay.
You know, all of us went to college. My brother didn't finish, but he wound up retiring and everything. You know, had his good career and everything. But
Okay.
all of us went to college. I chose a different way to go because I, military. So my pop was like, he was one of those cats that's like, okay, let me show you what you can do versus what you say what I can't do. And he had the business sense to go out there and look for something, because he hung out when he got off the railroad. Where would he go on his time before he come home? He hit the bar. So that was his hustle right there. So he knew what he could do, open up a bar, and he had a pretty decent little bar. Granted, I learned a lot of the good things, and I learned a lot of things I probably shouldn't have learned at the age of 8 and 7 and 8. But hey, it is what it is. But a hustler mentality, you can win, but you also have to have a business type, a little hint of business, and it does have to have somebody link up with you the right way to get the product. It's a supply and demand.
Chuck, the reason why I asked is because I see young people go down this road, right? And I think that I want to send you something right quick first, Chuck. I want to make you laugh. But I think the process of skipping steps, so to speak, over passion, I think it leads to
failure.
Sometimes it leads to that emotional place of frustration that gets you questioning not the choice you made to be an entrepreneur, but the choices you made on Entrepreneur Avenue, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like the entrepreneurship, see, that's a spirit. Being an entrepreneur, that's a spirit that you have, right? It's one of those things like entrepreneurship and hustling is not the same thing, right? In my mind, entrepreneurship is I'm willing to, if Chuck is better at this thing than me, I'm willing to go and apprentice with Chuck, even though my main goal is to step out and do the thing that I'd like to do in my way. But by apprenticing with Chuck, I kind of learned the game, so to speak. Learn like the basic level do's and don'ts, and then take that and then go out into the world and do my thing, right? And what happens is people talk to me, like they call me in confidence. So they call me in confidence. So I'm not going to say their name or what they're looking to do. But about 3 or 4 times a week, people will call me for advice. Like, hey, listen, this is what I want to do. Right? This is my age. This is how much money I have. This is the goal that I have. Right? And so what I tell them initially is, first, do you have your life in order? Like, do you have your life in order? Like, is your girlfriend gonna be ready for you to quit your second shift job and step out and do this full time? And if she not, you got to weigh things. Is my dream more important than my girl? Right? And this is basic stuff. This is basic life fundamental stuff. Right? Is my girl more important than my dream? Right? And if your girl is willing to go out, say, and work 2 jobs while you catching L's in the very beginning, then okay, then you have a great starting point, right? But if she don't want to say get that second shift job at Target because somebody got to watch the baby when she get off from work and her mama don't want to do it, but you got to spend 18, 19 hours out here grinding and you could be missing time with your baby. You know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna get home late and then you're gonna get up, rise in the morning early to go back out on the grind. Right? Is that worth it to you? And for some, it is absolutely worth it. And I'm talking about base level. I'm not talking about if you have a starter kit. I'm not talking about like if you already have, say, a nest egg that you already have, like say you got a grant from the federal government or there was a savings or somebody left you some bread or something like that. Somebody left you $200,000 or something like that. And you chose to start, a business with it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the light bill due, you short. The light bill's due on Tuesday. You getting paid on Thursday night, Friday morning, but you want to step out and be an entrepreneur.
I think it comes down to this, Freeze. It comes down to it's not only just stepping out to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Because sometimes we're taught. And everybody here, I think I'm almost positive. I'm not sure about Chuck, and he's a little intricate, so I don't want to put him in the box. I know Soulfinger with that deep South voice. I know he has a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm not crazy, right? So everybody wants to step out on faith, right?
Right.
And we're supposed to. Yeah, but God ain't tell us to be Jesus ain't tell us to be no dummies either.
Right.
So you stepping out on faith, but when you look at your business plan, it came out of shoebox. So you people are saying, I want to be a business like my son. I'm gonna keep using my son because that's where my focus is, right?
Right.
So I'm saying to him, you're gonna be a businessman. Okay, what's your product? And he looked at me like, what you mean my product? I'm the product. I mean, yeah, that's not how it works.
No.
Andrew Tate got to be where he is because he is 76-9 in kickboxing. He is what every man wanted to be. So now that he's opening his mouth, people want to hear what made him great. You have to first be great. What are you going to be great in? And that's what I think our people do. I think we say, I don't want to work for the man. I don't want to work for the man. So I'm going to go out here. Yeah, G.I., you a sellout. Your whole life, you worked for the man. You ain't never going to get your own. Yeah, you look you got what appears to be success, but you got that off the man. I'm going out here to get my own. And 10 years go by, 20 years go by, and they ain't got nothing to show for. How'd that plan work out?
Right.
So it's more about, are you just being arrogant or you being calculated when you step out of the faith?
Right. And so G.I., to your point, to your point, G.I., the calculus is there in the very beginning. Before the journey starts, the calculus is already there. All the factors for success and failure are already there. It's all about how you line them up and do you skip steps, in my opinion. No,
right? It ain't your opinion. That's factual, what you're saying. You know, opinion in that.
Right.
Yes, indeed. I'm
sorry. Go ahead, Soulfinger.
Oh no, I was just agreeing. I was agreeing, and also to piggyback on what G.I. was saying. You got to have faith and you got to be able to believe, and you got to have a product. Because a lot of cats come out and say, "I'm gonna start my own business," and he said, "Okay, you got a business. So what's your, you say, what's your product? You hit on what's your business plan? What's that? Bro, you ain't ready."
Right. See, go ahead.
Get back to that skipping step. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish Soulfinger.
No, Chuck. That's I didn't mean to cut you off. I think Soulfinger was done.
I was done.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
Okay, so what I wanted to say was there are a lot of people that want to get into entrepreneurship, right? Someone might suggest it because Susie Bell can make the hell out of some greens and mac and cheese and fried chicken. You should start a restaurant. And she does. And it fails. In 2 months, it's closed down because she doesn't know how to do the books.
Right.
She doesn't know how to make bulk orders.
Right.
She doesn't know how to do proper pricing of her items. Like you can't give somebody a styrofoam plate that is about to break full of food for $5.
Right.
That's not financially feasible.
That's
now
not a stable business model.
Right, turning a profit. Most rappers fall into this category, right?
Okay.
I'm going to be independent. I'm going to sell my music and become successful that way, right? But a lot of these guys fail at that because they don't know basic business concepts.
Right.
Like basic bookkeeping will keep a lot of these guys in the black.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I think
budgeting.
Budgeting.
But
right.
Gian the perfect person. Gian the perfect person. And
no, I'm just, my heart is so warm, and I just want to come through. I think Chuck is still mid-sentence, so I'm gonna shut up and let him get back at it. But bro, everything he's saying.
Right. And Chuck, the thing about the lady that can cook, what they don't realize is that thing that she started is not an eatery, it's a business. So she started a restaurant, right? She started a restaurant, but the restaurant is not an eatery. It's a business, right? Because you don't just buy food, you pay employees, right? You pay electricity bills, right? You pay water, you pay insurance, you got to pay for napkins, you got all this stuff. It's not just about the food, right? It's not an eatery, it's a business. And I think that's where a lot of people fail, because a lot of hidden expenses we don't know about. Like for instance, if you're an entrepreneur, what I would tell you at a base level is go to school for small business management. Get you an associate's degree in small business management, right? Because your corporation, which is you, just like what G.I. said, you know what I'm saying? Which is what G.I. said. But in this thing, just real quick, just to rewind a little bit, all the examples y'all gave, whether it's Kanye, whether it's G.I. and his son, whether it's Soulfinger and his dad, whether it's Chuck and his uncle, the lady, you know what I'm saying? All of them had some type of backing before they left the nest. Like Soulfinger Pops retired from the railroad. So if all else fails, he was still getting that retirement income from the railroad. Right? With Chuck, with everybody in that scenario had some type of backing before they stepped out. Right? I think what young people have is this all or nothing mentality where they think they can take baby wings and fly across the ocean, and you can't. You can make it there, but you got to fly and stop, fly and stop, fly and stop, fly and stop. And I think that frustrates a lot of people that have the entrepreneurial mindset, because they see them doing the fly and stop, but they see Kanye West selling Yeezys hand over fist. But they don't know Kanye's story when he was in Chicago getting his beats stolen by promoters and them. You know what I'm saying? In the very, very beginning, when Kanye Baby Wings had him flying and stopping, flying and stopping. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those. What my advice would be this: not only do the small business model, because if you look at yourself as a corporation and you don't have anything, you have zero assets, you are a very small business, right? And what you would like to do is go to school and learn about the small business entrepreneurial aspect. But while you're learning, the thing you also like, while you learn the textbook, you're in a setting with other people that have the same mindset. And so what that does is you get
a think tank.
Think tank. That's what you, Now you don't want to be turned into, you know what I'm saying, such and such, because a lot of us have the grandiose ideas like the American dream, which there's no such thing as the American dream. Let me tell y'all something right now. The American dream is not a real thing. It's called the American hustle. Not because you hustle, but people are looking to capitalize on
hustling you. They get you
Yes.
to fall
Getting
in love
this,
with that dream so
Yes.
that they can sell you everything that's associated with it at a high end rate. And
That
they
that
want
big
you- they
car,
want
that
you
big
to
house,
fanny
all of
out
that.
Man, Freezy, don't make me cry this morning. Please don't make me
Bro,
cry.
we gotta have these type of
Listen,
conversations, man.
Then let me in here. Then let me
Okay.
in here if we having
Okay.
a conversation. All right.
Yeah, we
So-
got this. Go ahead, bro.
So you are firing on all cylinders. I just want to step back to one of the most important things, two things that our business has failed at. I just feel like I need to give some jewels out and then step back for a second. In that business model where Sister Mary Jean could cook her tail off.
Right.
And she didn't know, Chuck hit on the bulk of it. She didn't know how to price it. Freezy was like, yo, do you realize somebody's got to cook the food and do the personnel cost, which is 80%. If you start a business, you should expect that personnel cost will be at least 70% of it.
Right.
Okay. Even if it's your own personnel cost, right? But Sister Mary Jean didn't think about how she was going to source. How you going to get fresh collard greens every day, Sister Mary Jean?
Right.
So she went to cook and she was like, oh my goodness, I don't have salt. I don't have this. I don't have that. So the whole first in, first out inventory model, all of that for that style of business, that is a must. There are certain efficiencies you must have that Ruth Chris has, that Morton's has, that when Sister Mary Jean opens Mama's Soul Food on the corner of Springfield and 21st, she's got to have that too. And I think where you're going with the show, let me say my one more thing and then kind of suggest where, or trying to make sure I understand where you're going with the show. The next thing we don't have to know how to do when we get this entrepreneurial spirit, we step outside and start, and if we do got a product, whatever that product is, the next thing we don't know how to do is incorporate our business.
Right.
We all start yelling, LLC, LLC, I got an LLC. And I've heard people, I pulled guys to the side. First of all, I knew a sister who had a S Corp. She was paying herself. Listen to this. She had a S Corp. She was paying herself in salary. So not only was she paying, it was her business. She's 90% of the business. Somebody convinced her to start an S Corp. She was paying herself in salary, which means then she was paying as an employer FICA and unemployment to the IRS. She is then the main employee. She then had to turn around and pay FICA that this sister set her business. When I sat her down and showed her all of this, that she had, and when I met her randomly, she had been running her business for 10 years.
Good God, oh my God. Come
black
on.
dude,
So she paying the owner part and the employee part.
She playing the employee and the employer part, and she is 90% of the business. I said, how did you get this way? And I said, well, you got business partners. You should go sit your business partners down and show them the overpayment and tax you made. They benefited from it because they have a better tax structure. This is a long-term capital gain situation. So their tax, they'll hook you up. She says, no, I don't have no business partners. I'm 100% of the business, bro. I wanted to cry. I did. And then, so then I said, well, how'd you get this way? Some brother walked up to her and said, yo, you want to protect yourself, sister. And the only way the LLC doesn't protect you. So you need to start a corporation so they can't pierce something. He overheard somebody smart say.
Probably something on it. And so for those that don't know, the LLC stands for Limited Liability Company, right? And so what I would say, just real quick, GI,
go ahead.
Just real quick. Chuck, one of the major mistakes that entrepreneurs make is not being lawyered up. Right. That's one thing. That's one thing. You gotta be lawyered up, right? The other thing too is you have to have an accounting person helping you from go, right? But before you start transacting, for instance, before I start transacting, I'm calling GI. Hey GI, listen. This is what I'm looking to do going forward. Can you help me structure these things in a way so that I will never get outside of these guardrails that you taught me about. And with GI probably, I don't know for sure how GI does it, because I don't get into that man business, but I just know he's smart, right? What GI will do, since that at least every 30 days you'll get something from GI in writing, at least every 30 days, right? Something you can be like, oh, okay, I didn't know such and such. But then, depending on your relationship, it may be a communication that's more frequent than that. Maybe it's more verbal, unless that is always going to be business, because GI's a sharp cat, and he going to make sure he take care of his own, protect his own business first, right? And then as a service to
GI has lost the last 4 golf tournaments. I was scheduled to play with 3 guys. I show up there, I'm playing with 3 different guys. Those guys, all 3 of them have tax issues. They called the head of the club to be able to have 5 hours with me to discuss their issues. I then can't focus on my game, because you see with GI, y'all know who GI is. I'm an empath. I don't want no black man, especially if you're in my circle, to hurt. When Freezy is hitting, man, we better cook this morning.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. You got to have your GI, right? And I'm leaning on GI, right? This is not no GI work for me type thing. This is, hey, GI, I have no idea what I'm doing, right? I already have a lawyer who I explain the same thing to, right? And I'm like, listen, I want to set up, okay, base level. I want to sell T-shirts, right? My lawyer is going to tell me up front, hey, man, ain't no money in selling T-shirts. The textile industry in that area. And I was like, and I'd be like, textile industry? I just want to sell T-shirts out of a storefront. And so, hey, wait a minute. You don't have a relationship with a textile company where you can get the T-shirts straight out of the factory, still warm, packed in plastic. You're gonna buy T-shirts from the man next to the man next to the man. And everybody who touched it, marking it up. Right? So by the time you get the T-shirt, you talking about like $7, $8? Come on, Uncle Freezy. You got to buy them T-shirts for 80 cents a piece.
You got to get on the plane and fly to Korea.
This is okay. GI, okay.
Frank Lucas.
Yes. So now GI, see what I'm talking about. These are the type things that you have to consider when you're a young entrepreneur. Like, before you step out of the gate, man, you have to have a team. If you're a business owner, you have to have a team. Now, I know you're going to say, man, I can't afford to pay all these people in the very beginning. No, you can't afford to make ill-advised mistakes that's going to set your business back 2 or 3 years at a time.
So what GI does is, when I see somebody, I first say, okay, you need my help. You don't talk to me about money. Don't talk, because you don't have enough money you just starting your business. This is your plan. Don't talk about money with me, because you can't afford me. And if I didn't, and if that was the case, I'd put you out already. Okay. Yeah, but tell me about your plan. Because if I believe in you, GI will take time and give you free service. I'll barter with you for the future.
Right.
And when I tell people that, and I'll say, but here, you're going to tell me what your product is. Here's what we're going to do. And I have 2 or 3 of these conversations a day, and 80% of them don't come to fruition.
Hey,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I ain't gonna lie. A young fella talked to me on the phone. He was like, man, this is okay. So a young fella that y'all know, I'm not gonna say his name, but he in the universe, right? He like, yo, man, I've been working for the man for all this time, and I feel like I got bread. And you walk up here footloose and fancy free, driving this expensive car. You ain't got a worry in the world. And I got worries. I got worries like everybody else. You're like, man, right. But what you do? I was like, that's my business. What I do. I'm Tommy. That's who I am. I'm Tommy from Martin. That's who I am. Right. Don't worry about like what it is that I do. I do it well. Right. And so hey, Andy, and salute Andy. Salute to Black Andy in the chat. What's good, man? So the thing is, you know, if I were you, I would not take, and this is me talking to this person that's in Nick's universe that want to step out of the realm. So this, I told them, Chuck, you know what example I used? The car auction. So
Okay.
I was like, how much money you got to start your business? I got about $2,000. You got about $2,000. Okay. If I were you, sir, I'd take that $2,000. You said you got $2,000? Yeah, I got $2,000. You sure it's $2,000? You ain't pinch off it? Nah, it's $2,000. You sure it's $2,000? You sure it ain't? Uncle Freezy. It's $2,000. Okay. If I was you, sir, this is me, right? This is, bro, go to the auction, buy you 2 $700 cars, right? That's $1,400, right? Check them out first. Make sure they're running. Make sure ain't no major damage to them. None of that stuff. Make sure they look good. Make sure they sellable after them. I always advise, go to the auction and buy you either a Honda Civic or a Honda Accord, right? Make sure the body good, right? Make sure the body on it good is whatever. Take it to the mechanic and be like, boss, all I have is $500. I need for you to go through both of these cars with a fine. Hey man, I ain't going through no thing with no fine time for no $500. Boss, listen to me. I'm gonna call him Smitty because my mechanic is got another name, but as soon as I say his name, everybody gonna know who he is, right? I'm Smitty. Listen, I'm gonna do this. Every time I sell these cars, I'm coming right back to you. As a matter of fact, once I do this 4 or 5 times, I'm gonna start paying you to come with me. Right? Yeah, how you gonna pay me, man? After work, man, I be tired. I'm gonna make it worth it for you. Right? You know what I just did, Chuck? Networked. Right? Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. So I go get the cars, $700, $1,900. The cars are up and running. You know what I'm doing? I'm selling that $700 car for $2,300. Right? Because no human being is buying $700 cars no more. Right? You got to mark it up to market value, right? So now I take that $4,600 that I made, I go back to the auction and do what? Go buy $700 Honda Civics. Again, this time I have about 5 of them, right? Take them back to Smitty. Smitty, all I got is such and such. Now I'm paying Smitty in straight cash right on the spot. Smitty, you know what to do. We get them up and running. Chuck, we selling 5 Honda Civics or Honda Accords for about $2,300, $2,400 a piece. Now I made over $12,000 and I started with $2,000. And this is in less than a month. This is a month of work, right? And so what I do is I don't expand that business model, right? I don't expand that business model because people are going to come to you. They be like, man, all you got is Honda Accords? Yeah, that's all I got, man. Because I got to get a car that's easy to fix, right? I got to get a car that's really cheap parts, easy to fix. My guy Smitty, I'm keep bringing him the same type of car so he know exactly what to look for, right? Now I got $12,000, right? So I'm taking $6,000 of that and putting it in the bank, right? And I'm taking that $6,000 going back to the auction, doing the same thing, and that's going to be my model going forward. Now the money in the bank, I'm not touching it. Because at some point, I got to go visit GI, right? And I got to go visit Arthur, right? Arthur is the attorney that I got to get, right? So Arthur can advise me on how to turn this hustle into a legitimate business. And I got to talk to GI and be like, GI, listen, I don't have much money in the bank. All I have is like right now, with all the assets, I got like 4 cars and $13,000. Can you track this? Can you start me down the path of financial responsibility, making sure that all my taxes are paid? I might have to hire somebody too. You know what I'm saying? So now I can go to GI, and I started this thing with $2,000, right? But the thing about it is, those that want to do stuff like barbershops or restaurants, what they do is they start off on a foot towards the restaurant and probably go to the bank to see if they can get a loan instead of starting in one entity, building a nest egg with their eyes on their big dream.
I hope they're
You know
going
what
to
I'm
the
saying?
small. I hope they're going to the SBA, the Small Business Association, to get that.
They have to do these things in a.
Yo, Freezy, we got they back, Unc. We
Right.
got the community, fam.
Right.
I know it's frustrating. I know it's frustrating that we got all the answers for them and we can't put it in everybody's life. But Uncle Freezy, here's what I learned as we go down this road, because you starting it. You turned this microphone, no, don't go on mute, Soul Finger. I ain't going far. Listen, you started this thing, Uncle Freezy. All I'm saying is let's agree to this. We can only touch one person at a time. That's all we can do. That's all God gave us to do. Long as we don't take on more than that, I'm good. Go, Soul Finger.
Well, it's one thing. It was one word that was said earlier, and it's key, and it's called networking.
Right.
Right.
Networking is key.
Right.
And also you have to have it's another word I like to use in regards to this, and it's pride. Because some folks just have too much pride to go and ask for the proper help, or do. And another word I like to use research.
Right.
You got to research what you're gonna do, because you got in your mind, like you got a lot of cats. I hear a lot of cats, man. When I was I'm gonna get out and run. When I get out the Navy, I'm gonna open up, have my own shop. What shop? You have a barber shop, man. I said, okay. Did you think about this? You think about that? Oh, well, no, man. I'm just gonna go and get, go to barber school, and I'm gonna go from there.
I'm gonna find me a spot downtown.
Exactly.
And that's how they be thinking.
You don't think about it. Then even with the restaurant, you're going to the food industry. You're thinking about those napkins cost.
Yes.
So how many napkins are you going to give? Straws cost. So how many, cups cost? People don't think about it. They think about the food.
You know what else costs? Do you know what else costs? That detergent that you use to clean your floors with.
Yeah, exactly.
That costs.
And this is another thing, because now you're talking about restaurant wise. Now you have to make sure you're in compliance.
Right.
You have to make sure you're in compliance. Just because they have an A in that window does not mean that that place has an A. Because when they come around to do the food, the sanitation inspection, a lot of cities don't have enough people to go around, so it's sitting there.
Right.
So it only takes but one call. So you got to stay on top of your cleaning, the maintenance of your stove, the maintenance of all that stuff, man. So that stuff costs money. What about your vents? Your hood. Oh, are you cleaning that? Or is it self-cleaning hood? Or are you
pulling them stoves out, cleaning behind your stove?
Exactly.
Are you scrubbing those walls behind your stove?
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Are you pulling your refrigerator out? Is your refrigerator leaking?
Yeah.
How often do you have pest control come through? Once a month?
You have look, this is another thing people don't think about. How many thermometers you have? Oh, I got the one I use. No. You need thermometers on the inside of your refrigerator. You need thermometers on your freezers. Do you know the proper temperature of your eggs? Do you know the proper, if you have milk, do you know the proper temperature of your milk? You have to keep on top of that. That's what I used to do when I was in uniform. I used to do those sanitation inspections, stuff like that. So you have to know all these little nuances, and you got to know your regulations and all like that. So guess what you got to do? Now you need to go to these classes. Oh, food handling. You got to be certified as a food handler. So you got to have your food handler card. There's levels of that. So now you got to come out of the park. So people don't think about it. I'm just going to open it up and you'll run right on in. But you got to stop and do your research.
Right.
You also got to network. So why would I go to this spot to get my napkins and straws if they're charging me 50? Let's say that they're charging me $1.50 here, but I can go to another spot that got the same product and they're charging me 75 cents here.
Right.
You got to do your network, and you got to educate yourself. But then too, like I said, Freezy, like G.I. was saying, you open it up because you're picking up the mic and you're giving this information out to everybody to start getting people in the brain housing group to function. So I'm saying we just can't go running out all willy-nilly saying, I'm gonna do this. This is like everybody, like the Dave Chappelle skit when it got reparations. What you gonna do? Oh, I'm gonna open up a studio.
Wow. Yeah.
Another point where I think particularly sometimes with our people is we see these entities, whether it be celebrities or maybe just somebody locally, and they'll say, I got it out the mud. I did it all by myself.
Right.
And the truth of the matter is they have a whole team of people behind them, from lawyers to things like that. So you can't do it by yourself. Like running a business, you can't wear every single hat, because something is going to lack, because you're not going to have the time or time to dedicate to making sure that thing is running properly, because you got 5 other things that you need to do. So now delegation comes into play, and paying the right people to be in the right position to make you successful. Back to the music thing, because I can speak on that a little bit in depth from experience. You can't be your own manager, your own bookie, have time to rehearsal and record and shoot videos and make sure that payroll is straight.
And the agent, and your agent and the accountant and the personal lawyer and a industry attorney, because you got to have both. You can't have an entertainment lawyer handling
an administrative one.
Yes. And they are different, right?
Very different.
You might need a tax attorney,
yes.
An entertainment attorney.
I hope you don't ever need a tax attorney. No. I mean,
I hope not. Right?
Just get a good accountant for the right fee, and then you won't need a tax attorney. Man, tax attorney fees are out the world.
Yeah, man.
But you need these people in key places, right? But I'm trying to save money because I don't have money, right? I really don't have the education, so I'm gonna let my drive and determination fuel the way. And it's like, nah, man, you can't do it that way. If you can, as a rapper, I'm speaking as rappers go. If you can spend $2,000 buying 10 pairs of Jordans,
right,
so that you can go to shows, why can't you pay $2,000 as a retainer fee for a lawyer or an accountant or something like that? Right? Because how many artists have you heard?
Yeah, that's what I needed. I needed some sun in my life. Thank you.
Wait a minute, some SUN? Okay, all right. I got you.
I ain't seeing the sun that bright. I'm sorry, Chuck, but that sun distracted me, man, because I'm a golfer, man. I just got my golf ball like right there.
I had to get out of Chuck, New York, bro. I had to.
hey, Chuck, I got to ask you a quick question about that, though. So with those, because this is the thing that I talk to young people about too, that do preparation. Like, can you write off the price of that wardrobe you use for work? Can you consider that a uniform?
Yeah, I think you can.
Absolutely, you can.
Okay. Is that something that you feel like? Is that something that you feel like people do though?
It doesn't have to be a uniform. Yes, definitely, and it doesn't have to be a uniform.
If you my client, you do, especially if you want to entertain. Yeah, that's why they wear all that stuff. First of all,
it's not just entertainers though. If you're independent, if you're not a W-2, if you're a W-2 employee, you can't take none of that stuff as deductions. But if you are working for yourself, if you file a W-9 and you file your own taxes, you could deduct the money you spend for clothing. You could deduct the money you spend for food. You could deduct the money, that.
To a certain limit.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, but like much more so than you. Like if those guys aren't doing that,
if you're a W-2 employee, you don't get to write off any business. You can have some W-2 employees can have some unreimbursed business expenses, but they're generally not of the nature of a 1099 employee would have.
So guys, just real quick, because I have a very important question that I hope y'all can elaborate on. So what document do you have to supply to the federal government and your state taxing agency, whoever, say federal and state and city, whoever, What document do you have to provide? Do you have to be a corporation in order to do that?
No,
No.
so you can file schedule. So with the IRS, you would file. So you have your name is you are an entity. You have a social security number.
Right.
If you choose to go out and do some small business on the side, this is from the federal level first. You can then include that into your 1040 tax return via Schedule C. Schedule C, business income. And it looks just like a profit and loss statement. You list your income, you list your expenses, and it comes down to a net income number. The IRS will then tax you on your net income number. But there is a little penalty, though, to having Schedule C versus W-2 income. Schedule C income means that you have to pay self-employment tax. So remember we talked about that. Remember earlier I said the lady was paying dual. Right. So you if you have a W-2, then your employer is paying taxes on your behalf, and that's what you're going to ultimately receive later via Social Security. That's what funding. So you say, if I'm self-employed, how am I access to Social Security? Your access to Social Security because you pay in to the fund via your self-employment tax.
Okay. Y'all young entrepreneurs, y'all need to be taking notes right now.
Oh no,
and we say young entrepreneurs. See, like that's the thing. Like this is regular facts, bro. Like it ain't even about entrepreneurs. We should know this stuff. Like this is we need. It's not even about entrepreneurs. I don't even care if you're a W-2, you're an employee, and you like your job, and you want to be like as black people, we got to be way more cognizant of how these things work. It's been some of our financially, I think it's been some of our biggest setbacks.
Facts.
Really?
Yes, we don't know. We when we think about the system, we think about the system like. Of course, there's pockets of us who know. There's black people in finance and this, that, and the other. But I'm talking about like generally on the ground, just like basic stuff that cats need to know about taxes and taxation and what's the best like tax strategy for you. Like we don't wholesale invest in that understanding. And that's everybody. You don't even have to be a business owner or work for yourself to actually take advantage of the tax codes and how they work.
Okay. So where do you find out this information from, Mr. Free Keith, sir?
You're talking to one of the guys. This is how we find out. Like we go to sources, like other people do. Like we're talking to a guy right now who knows it.
Okay.
This is what we continue to do. We have to seek out the information from those of us who know, and those of us who know have to have a responsibility actually to get it out there.
So I see what Freezy is doing. And that's why he's one of the best at this. And Keith, so where Freezy started, his first question, Keith, was, which I'm sure you and I and everybody, but it really piques our interest because then we took college to a whole nother level, right? We're going to be connected to college forever because of our organizations, right?
Right.
So Freezy started off saying, you want to be an entrepreneur. Right. That doesn't necessarily mean you need to go to college. But what are you going to do? What should you do?
What are your first steps?
He came later and said, hey, listen, you ain't got to go to college, but you better go hang around some people and enroll in something where you got some like-minded people. Right. So I think where we're going with this, Freezy, and I'm going to pass it to you, correct me if I'm wrong, where we're going with this is we have, you can want to do your own thing, but it doesn't mean you don't have a responsibility to put yourself around people in the know.
Right.
Just because you're in the room by yourself and by default you are the smartest man in the room because you're the only man in the room,
right,
you better know that ain't the best way. That the people that got filthy rich in this world, they have some very influential friends. So right, even though you might not want to go do the man's work, you have a responsibility to go out and network at a high level. And that high level networking is done on institutions of higher learning.
Yep. Yep. That's one of the things that I wanted to get to. The thing is this. I don't care how great you are at any given thing. Every human that ever existed, who ever tasted success, had somebody to help them along the way. Yeah, you know what? Even Jesus Christ had 12 disciples.
Facts.
No matter how successful you think you are, like no matter say if you're Michael Jackson, right? There were people helping Michael Jackson from the time he was a kid all the way up to adulthood, and then he took off to this next level. People think Thriller or Off the Wall was Michael Jackson's first solo albums. Wrong. Right? Everybody that's successful, whether you're Elon Musk or whoever you are, whatever it is that you do, everyone that has tasted success had help. Whether they acknowledge, nobody gets it up out of the mud. Nobody. Even if the person that helped you didn't provide you with friendly help, because I think sometimes we look at friendly help as the only help. Right? That's not always the case. Sometimes people help you by making you do it the hard way. And it's lessons in learning things the hard way. You learn things the hard way because there are certain disciplines that you have to do. It's either do it or die. Right? Right? Like 50 Cent said this thing one time. 50 Cent said, "Get rich or die trying." Right? And so what he was saying to you is this: the message that was sent was, my success is more important than all the basic other things that people do in life. I would rather be successful than breathe clean air, so to speak. Right? I would rather be successful at this thing than to eat food. 50 Cent said, "Get rich or die trying." Now, here's the thing. I know that sounds extreme, and it is. But people rev their engines different ways, right? My motto is not get rich or die trying. My motto is educate myself till I fall asleep learning. I want to learn everything, right? Chuck, no, I ain't lying. One night I was up. I was on this software called OBS for 11 straight hours learning. I was so tired, but I valued learning more than I valued sleep. You know what I'm saying? And so listen, I'm not saying be a fanatic. What I'm saying is what is your value system based on? Right? Like if you're an entrepreneur, and when I say young entrepreneur, I don't mean young person. I mean new to entrepreneurship.
Young in the business, young to the game.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So when you're a young entrepreneur, when you're new to this thing, you know what I'm saying? What are you willing to sacrifice? Chuck, remember when I first started and I was talking about the example with the homie talking to his girl, which was more valuable, his business or his relationship with his girlfriend? Remember that? Right. When I said that in the very beginning? Right? You have to do these things. What's more important, this model or my girl? If she understands, is she going to sacrifice working 2 jobs while I'm bringing home, while I'm clearing $7 a week, and then $8 a week, and then $9 a week, and then $10 a week? Like that slow grind towards success, is my girl still going to be around for that? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that go into this entrepreneurship thing. That's why I ask, would you rather grind it away that way or go to school where things are laid out for you, where you know the cafeteria is going to be serving lunch at 11:30, when you know breakfast started at 7? You know what I'm saying? When you know dinner started at 4:30. Are you willing to just go be on campus? You know what I'm saying? Where people like Free Keith can bump into you in a thing, and the next thing you know, you join in a fraternity where you have
he's gonna try to recruit you to Alpha. I like that. I'm glad you said that.
Nah. I don't try to recruit out nobody to Alpha. No. That's not what we do. You ain't well. I don't even have to do that. Like if I gotta try to convince you to be alpha, I don't even want you. That's number one.
Are you an alpha male? Is that what this is? You an alpha man?
I'm a male that's an alpha.
Yeah,
What you want? How you wanna play with that? Merry Christmas. But I'm gonna tell. If we talking about organizations now, nah.
Yeah, I'm so
Nah.
bad.
Many are called, but few are frozen.
Yo,
Remember that.
He's sitting
Remember that.
while he's sitting in his puffy backyard. I hate him.
Nobody.
I hate him right now.
Right. Yo, so G.I.,
you feel me, G.I.?
G.I., you see how I wrap that in there, though, right? Look, like, because while you're not on campus, while you're just walking around, you know what I'm saying? What's the odds on a Sigma bringing in someone that's that to open up the education, so to speak? Whereas if Uncle Freezy just graduated from Howard and I'm a Sigma and I just bump into GI and Journal Square and I give him my Sigma salute. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm a young accountant. I'm just trying to, you know what I'm saying, get my feet set in the game.
I would do it for anybody, but you're right. Because of the Sigma connection, we would get to talking more, and then I would find out he's a young accountant and be able to help him. But I would do it for any young brother.
Right.
White, black,
but
black,
it's serendipitous,
Asian, or
though.
other. But see, this is the reason why people, like, out of any race, color, or orientation or whatever, this is why people join groups.
Right.
Like that's the sole like that right there is to give you a group of people who you are more emotionally aligned to, and or at least like connected to, and that you can go to for help.
Right.
Like that's it. Which is, I think, honestly, if we're going down this path, though, I'm gonna say that this is a major failing of all Black Greek letter organizations. We could be so much more powerful as postgraduates in these Americas if there's billions of dollars worth of professionals and stuff like that in these organizations. Like, we could turn around the whole face of Black America if we wanted to.
Okay. I'm with
you. Like even inside of the organization, I complain about this all the time. Like, we have networks of producers, of financiers, of this, that. Like, literally, we shouldn't have to go to anybody else to get to put our projects in front of for financing, to get help with whatever we need help with. But we don't really adequately. We don't ask for help in the way that other people do.
Let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this, because I want to get you and I want to get everybody feedback on this. Hey, so right now, Free Keith, who is the most powerful person in your cell phone? You don't have to say their name. Don't say their name. Don't say their name. Just say, just kind of give us a hint.
The most powerful person in my line brother. My line brother, who was appointed to a cabinet seat in the Obama administration, is probably, off top of my head, one of the most powerful contacts I have in my phone.
GI, who's one of the most powerful people, or the most powerful person in your phone? You don't say his name. Don't say his name.
No, it's not. It's gonna not be fair, because if anybody heard this back, they would be pissed.
Just give us a hint. You don't have to say it.
So I have to go with my frat brother that's a state senator, because I made him and I can call him immediately. Right. So, but there's mad others. One of the richest Black people.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Others, but I gotta pick him because my phone call to him, if he was in with Obama, he's saying, hold on for a sec. I need to make sure everything's okay with him. So he would step out.
So, hey, so GI, you and I have something in common.
That cat the black cat that was working in the Trump administration that everybody hated, like, and like, even he became a little bit of a pariah during the time even in our chapter, Jerron Smith. I don't know if any of y'all remember the one
we was
black dude they paraded around.
Oh yeah, we was teasing that he was an alpha.
I pledged him.
We had one
Like,
too.
so
Okay.
We had
This is what I'm saying. Like, we have powerful people. Like, there's powerful people at our fingertips, but we don't really activate. Man, we don't activate those full networks to the power that they could be.
Right. And Freaky, the reason why I asked is because like when I look in my phone, right, I have powerful people in my phone that I could call for anything, but I call them for nothing. For one dude used to be, and I don't know why, it was just a serendipitous meeting. We spoke at a function. I'm not going to talk about what type of function. We spoke at a function. I told the joke. He laughed, and we stood and we like drank champagne or whatever. And I was standing there next to him, and everybody in the room was looking at us. When I walked away from him, those people that were looking at him started coming to me to talk. Right. All I'm going to say is he held the most powerful position in the city of Chicago. Right. That's all I'm going to say about that. And he, you know what I'm saying? I'm just leave it like that. And yes, he's connected to Obama. Right. One of them dudes. So when G.I. said that, I was like, yo, man, Obama could have did something. But the point that I'm getting at, though, is how do we have people here and we have this thing in our hand all the time and we don't use our connections?
Man, as a people, as an overall people, though, I feel like there's a bit of a realization that we have to make. And I'm not talking like there are people who have already done it, like, you know, who have already made the large groups of Black people already made this understanding. But I think as a whole, as a general movement, we have to realize that we are no longer in survival mode and that we have to go to thriving. And thriving, like, there's people in this country white people who've always been in thriving mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, not to say that there aren't poor white people. I'm just saying as a mass, right? So, like, we're coming into a time that, like, yeah, racism's still around, this, that, and the other, but really that can be gotten around. There's networks, like I could take my whole entrepreneurship growth inside of just the Black diaspora. So, like, we can survive. And I feel like the things that it takes to thrive, like, are different than those survival things, and we're just slowly coming out of those survival modes. Now, thriving takes something else, like paying for a financial planner.
Right.
A lot of us won't do that because we don't see the immediate value in it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We don't see the immediate value. Like, I'm not paying this. Like, yeah, I'll make my way myself, which is fine, and most of us do. But, like, when you're talking about
Chuck, I got
looking down the future and seeing ultimate progress, like, how do you invest in that? I don't need to hold my money anymore. Like, just like, oh, because I don't know what tomorrow bring, and I'm surviving, and I got to survive through X, Y. Like, nah, like, you got that bread, you got a job. How do you get to the next level? And I think, like, that is what we need to kind of, like, to focus people's attentions on. Like, yo, like, there's stuff that you got to do. Investment means that you pay something first. Whether it's time, whether it's money, whether it's what you call it, to get to that next level. We have to impress that upon the peoples. Like, because even what you guys are talking about, college and networking in college and using those networks, or, you know, speaking to people and learning about tax codes and this, that, and the other, like, those things now are going to require you to invest in a way.
Yeah, hey, so I understand what you're saying there. I have a question for Freaky, but I don't want to dominate the conversation. Anybody else have a question for what Freaky said? And DSJ had a question that I think he wanted us to address.
Oh.
Okay.
So Freaky says, Freaky. DSJ says, do you really feel like the problems of utilizing powerful analyzers is wanting to feel like the goal was earned through blood, sweat, and tears opposed to a helping hand? Yes.
Yo,
Yeah.
if so, that I would say that man,
You in the wrong business.
You're doing yourself a disservice, and you're
Disservice.
making you like it's work harder, not smarter. That whole grind and hustle, and then like yo, as I get older, I'm realizing those words are for certain. Like those words
are for the losers.
I don't want to say losers.
Yes,
because,
they
like,
are freaky. See, because we live in a capitalist society where people forget the first part of capitalism is capital, and it's earned by capitalists, right? It's either you're capitalizing or you're being capitalized on.
You either on at the table or you on the menu.
Right.
Yep.
Facts.
Yep. Basically, it's a zero-sum business. Either you win or lose.
So like
Right.
that attitude that Delano kind of meant or asked about, like I do think it's true and it's evident, but it's something that's gonna hold you back if you'll overlook opportunities because of that.
Right. Because of some of it, I ain't even gonna lie to you. Some of it, and you guys are polished, and so you and GI and all of y'all know how to make a way around the room. It's like when the waitress, when the servers are coming around with like the champagne or whatever the function is, y'all know how to make your way around the room because somebody grabbed y'all when y'all was in school and taught y'all how to present yourself in functions, right? Like certain functions, you have to wear a certain thing, right? In certain meetings, you have to shut up and let the head honchos speak, right? You have to know your place. Like in organizations, there are people in line ahead of you, and when they show up, you don't tell them what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like for some of us that took an alternate route, but may still have that fraternal life. Yo, us talking meant that you had to go home and wait a whole nother year before somebody might decide to have you back. You know what I'm saying? You get in here thinking you know everything. Nah, get him out of here. Get him out of here. I don't want to see him no more until next year. And you're like, yo, but I paid money. Sure you did. Sure you did. And we'll send you, either we'll send that money back to you and you'll never come back, or we'll hold that money until next year. You know what I'm saying? But you're not going to come in here and tell us what you know when everybody in here knows that you know nothing.
A book I would suggest that everybody pick up. It's a very interesting read, and it will give you a dynamic in terms of like Black power structures and like how these organizations kind of operate, like from Jack and Jill to the Black Greek organizations, the Boule, and this, that, and the other. Like, it's called The Talented 10. Yo, they had it. They were on, like, and it's from like 1904, 1900. Like, there's always been an upper layer of Black people who knew what was going on. Now it's time now for that information to be to trickle down.
I know those people, Chuck. I know those people from the 1700s, 1800s, 1900s that freak you talk about. I know them,
dude. Like, but it's high time now. Like
they was the Freezies.
They were the original Freezies. But like they very much kept those, what you call it, to like a certain level of black people and this, that, and the other. But it's like we are actually, as a black population now in the United States, we have way more wealth, and we can actually double and triple that wealth if we look at it differently now. Look at each other. Look at what we need to do differently.
Freaky, you know what? I'm gonna say this to what you're saying, because what you're saying makes so much sense. I wish we could package this in a way that we can dispense it more freely, as opposed to somebody having to find us and watch the thing. I'm thinking about maybe we should clip this and put this out in spurts somewhere, like on on TikTok or YouTube or something. But here's my thing. There are folks out there that do that, right?
Pockets, yes. We got to increase those pockets.
Okay, I froze a little bit, but anyway, so going back to the conversation we had the other day, there are people with that knowledge and want to share it,
right? But
the receptors of the ones that want to enjoy that wealth, here it is. Let me say it in a nutshell. I can drop a little gem right now, but the people that need gems are not strong enough to carry those gems that I'm dropping.
I don't mind that they're not strong enough because that's factual. The problem I have was when they throw my gems back at me, and make it seem like my hand was different than theirs. The problem they have with me is they moms ain't die in the street from AIDS. They brother didn't die in the street from a fentanyl overdose.
Right.
They didn't have it as bad. So they just stay
like
away.
My uncle's addicted heroin addictions.
They just
stay, hit the can.
Now they just stay away because the older I get, I just get more confirmation. It's not that I'm wrong. People don't want to be held accountable. They just do not want to be held accountable
nowadays.
And almost never. And as long as you have that situation, it's impossible to lead random people. You can only lead people who have similar objectives because they'll believe in the leadership. If you start trying to lead the blind, you will look more blind than them.
Right.
It took me a long time, and it almost gonna make me cry to realize that there's a journey that Freezy has set up that has Chuck has been on it the whole time. Delano's been loyal to it. Soul Finger 12, the big homie's been there. There's other cats in the chat that's been there. I can name the names. Keith and I are waking up to it, right, to this movie. But as Keith and I come along, one thing we know, everybody ain't gonna be able to take the ride, and that hurts.
But you know what, too? A part of it is also meeting people where they're at.
Right.
There's a YouTube channel and a personality that like I'm really impressed with, and this dude like been to jail, was in the life, this, that, and the other, and like in jail turned around like his understanding. You could tell he's a smart young brother, but still very hood, but turned around his understanding of like even like finance and like legal finance and ways to get money and increase your wealth, like just the regular American, what you call it, it's called the Wall Street Trapper.
Okay, yeah, I saw it.
Wall Street, yo, dude. When I say his following is growing, he's got I want to say over 1 million subscribers, but like that's the kind of person that you need to connect with to talk to some of the people that you need to get that information to. And he's all of this stuff that we're saying is stuff that he's speaking to his audience in a way that they understand. He's talking about finance and taxes. He's talking about like real estate and like how what you don't and do need to get definitely, but like he's speaking it in a language that they understand. And sometimes I think sometimes we forget that as well. Meeting people where they're at is important, because if I'm like 6 steps ahead of you and I try to encounter you and engage you like you're at that level, it's definitely going to go over your head. It's going to go over your head in a way that you feel like it's not attainable for you. But like those cats, like being able to like meet those people that need the information the most in the way that they can understand it, I'm telling you, that's something that we have to think about.
I understand where you're coming from.
Sometimes it can be the messenger.
Yeah. Go ahead,
No. I was just gonna add to that point. Jesus did that. If you ever seen the little red writing in the book, that's when he spoke, and he always spoke to people where they were at. So
what he say? I'm not a big pastor, I'm not a big pastor or anything, but like, well, I believe there was a time he was confronted, and the Pharisees and Sadducees was like, yo, why you sitting with the prostitutes and the tax collectors, bro?
Yeah.
He's like, yo, like, it's like, yo, people don't need a doctor when they well. The sick need the doctor.
Yeah. 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 So, but Freaky, to your point of meeting him where he at, bro, man, all sodas start in the bottom of the glass, bro. All of it. When you pour the soda, all the sodas start in the bottom of the glass, bro. It's just the most effervescent, the ones that want to get to the top come to the top, right? Now, I know that sound like, man, he talking to 7-year-olds now. Nah, what I'm saying is this. I understand you're saying meet them where they're at, but what I want to do is challenge those that are motivated to meet me in the middle, right? Because
but using your analogy, I could simply put a stirring spoon at the bottom in that cup and agitate the bottom to create more fizz.
But you're motivating them.
Yes, but there still needs to be you adding something to that bottom to do that.
Right. You're motivating them. And listen, motivations are different. You don't have to go and talk to them. You could be walking past them in a suit with a briefcase, and somebody can say, man, I want to be like that when I get older. And they don't even know what it is that you do. You know what I'm saying? It happened to me.
I could tell y'all a story about like the moment that my mind was open to different possibilities about where my life could go. And I can boil it down to a singular moment that was totally inconsequential and accidental, and I could not have even planned it.
Right.
And it was just optically seeing something that another black person, black man was doing.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be honest. I want to work in finance.
I didn't want to monopolize the joint.
What is this? A movie trailer?
I didn't want to monopolize.
Coming soon. Freaky's life in a nutshell.
Yo, dude, I grew up like my immediate parents and family immigrants just came to that generation just came from Trinidad and moved here. It was 12 of us in a 1-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn. 80s.
Right.
Rough, but everybody living like that. Cool. I'm not a dumb kid. I'm smart. I mean, I'm even in the little public schools. I'm in like the gifted programs. Don't know really what that means. I'm just, I'm saying, whatever. I'm in it. In my mind, I see my cousins and stuff like that going the wrong way. I'm not really I've never really been about that life. So like my whole thing, even though I don't know, is like, okay, cool. Like if I can get through and become like a mail carrier or garbage person, I would have been fine. Oh, I don't have a police record. If I could get through without a police record and get to some blue collar job, I would have thought that I won. Now, fast forward that I'm a teenager, 15 years old, like getting in trouble in the hood, little trouble, this, that, and the other. Okay, me and my friend we doing some stupid shit, stealing from a store. This cop catches us, blah, blah. Now he's talking to us and he's like, oh, like you guys ain't dumb. Like, so he gives us an ultimatum. He's like, okay, there's this dude I know. He's like, I want you're either gonna take him as a mentor, or I'm gonna have to run you through the system.
Right.
Fuck. What we do? Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Get that mentor. We look at each other like, woo, we just skated that.
Yeah.
Whatever. So we'll just talk bullshit to this dude and whatever, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
and then when it's over, it's over.
And then when it's over, it's over. Right. When I say that this dude changed our lives just by showing us different stuff. Like He was a dude who black a brother. Like I would say, and he wasn't even so much older than us at the time. Like about like 12 years older than us. So like he's like 27. But this dude had his own security company. His security company did the security for Tommy Hilfiger, a bunch of stars around it. Like he had built this security company. So he had bread. We didn't know any of this coming into the relationship. So he'd meet with us. We talking, chopping it up. Like he definitely got to know where we at. He offers us, he's like, all right, cool. I'm renting a house out in the Hamptons this summer. If you guys get jobs out there, you could come and stay with me. We like, all right, cool. Get out of the city for summer. Like we looking at it like, we looking at it like summer camp. We didn't know what the Hamptons was.
Right.
I'm in New York in the hood, 80s, crack era Brooklyn. What the hell I know about the Hamptons? Like, oh, like that's where rich white people stay. Like, all right, cool. Let me see what's up over there. We out there that summer, bro. When I say, like, most of that summer, we was walking around watching people not even saying stuff with our mouth, our jaw on the ground. Like, oh my God, we didn't even know people could live like this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the ease and the rich. And like, so now we're like, damn, white people really, man, they got this country in a lock. Like we can't even, this is how they live. This is what we're thinking. This is us thinking that the whole time. So we out there messing with white girls, this, that, and the other. It's cool. But we're still thinking like we're other. We're just experiencing this and we're going back to where we're from. And like, we're going to go back on our track, our future track. One day we walking down like one of these extensive strips in Sag Harbor. Now we've been there for like about a month. Haven't really seen any other black people, and white people kind of looking at us crazy, or at least we feeling that way, feeling mad out of place. Walking down the strip, I see this car come down across the street. And I don't even know why that this particular car or all the cars like kind of took my attention, and it's my favorite car to this day. This dude drove up in an Aston Martin. Oh my God, it was pretty. Top down, it's a black dude. We stuck. Like I'm saying, we're like about like maybe 50 feet away, not nowhere close. And like we literally are like we stopped in our tracks just watching this dude.
Right.
Just watching this dude. He pulls up in front of the Louis Vuitton store, hops out, clean looking, rich looking brother, walks around the car, opens the door for his very beautiful black, I'm assuming white. They get out the car. He undoes the car seat in the back. They're very beautiful black baby. Like I'm looking at these, like this is the richest, cleanest black family I've seen, like with my own eyes, like, and it's crazy. So like now they're bundling up everything to walk in the store. I don't even know why this dude turns back. He must have known we was looking at him. And I'm saying like we're far away. Like it's not even like we were close. Like, and he turns around and looks at us and literally locks eyes and like gives this nod, like, yo, like, yeah, bro, you can have this too. Like, that shit changed my life. That moment.
Yeah.
That moment.
Right.
Dude, I do not devalue at all the power of showing people, of having people see and experience things out of their box. Because like we would have never known, we would have been really smart kids in a box, in living in a box that we didn't know that we could get out of.
Right. You'd have been
and a person.
Yeah. Oh, hey, DSJ. I'm gonna just say this real quick. So shout out to DSJ real quick. But Free Keith, you know what happens in those moments? If that moment doesn't play out, all those steps don't play out the way that they do, you may have been the guy managing Tony's Pizza Shop because you smart.
No, and I would have been happy.
You'd have been happy because that would have been.
I would have thought I made it. Like, yo, like I didn't get arrested. I don't got no record, and like, yo, I'm grinding. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like I'm a good citizen, and
And next year he gonna give me a 30-cent raise.
Oh
you know
man, bro, and nothing against that. because that's up for some people. So I'm not gonna. I won't shoot that down at all. Just especially knowing where I come from and where people still at. But like, it just like amazes me that luck, blessings, luck, whatever you want to call it, is what was able to change my winnings. But like, to be able to bank on luck, bro, like it's not a way. It's tragic. Like, you cannot bank on luck to get people out of their bad situations. And like,
luck is not a plan.
Luck is not a plan. There you go, brother. There it is. And I didn't even know it was part of my plan. Like, these are very lucky strokes that me and my best friend had. And we ain't know about fraternities or sororities. Like, yo, nothing. None of that college stuff we knew about. Like,
first frat I saw was school days.
Yes, and I didn't even know. Actually, I'm gonna give you this. The first frat you really saw was Chub Rock. Was Chub Rock and the cues that he had in his videos that I thought that was just, they were just doing some new dances.
School days was before.
What school days before that?
Yeah, I was frat by the time Chub Rock. Chub Rock came out in 90, 91.
Yeah,
dude, we watching all them joints thinking that these are. We doing them dances around school, like, yeah, like we like, hey, like not knowing what they were, like because my mentor was an alpha, and this was the only reason that I started to like understand that I even wanted to start going to like thinking about going to college and this, that, and the other. Like, yo,
I got to go to college in the naughty by nature era, brother. Everywhere we went, everybody was like, "Oh, y'all naughty by nature."
Yeah.
Hey, so that just shows the limited understanding. Like cats really don't know stuff at that lower level, and I don't know. I kind of look at it as our responsibility to at least, like, I can't make you change, but I gotta show you what that change looked like.
Right. And just DSJ, I know you've been waiting to jump in, man, and I wanted to answer your question, but the thing I'm getting at though, Free Keith, is the thing I learned is beyond my daily frustration, I have to model everything that you said daily. Like everything that you just said, like the dude with the car, with the chick, with the baby in front of the, it's our responsibility to model that daily, because you never know who's looking at you and what their impression is gonna be, right? Like, for instance, I met somebody in a city. I don't want to give it away, but they see me and I'm smiling, bro. I'm shaking hands, man. I'm speaking, and they say, "Yo, Uncle Freezy can talk." That is the black way of saying Uncle Freezy is well spoken, right? I get that a lot, but that hadn't always been the case, right? Mind you, I still got to remind people, you know what I'm saying? I am from Northern New Jersey public schools, Hudson County. You know what I'm saying? I went to PS-15, Whitney M. Young Jr. School. I went to Dickinson High. I attended St. Anthony's for a short time. I went to like 5 different high schools in my life because my parents were young and just stuff, right?
Right.
But every day, even when I turn these microphones on, and you don't get to see, like, you know, me walking around and all that stuff, I still have to model everything that thing that Free Keith said. I have to do that every day because you never know who's looking and what their takeaway is going to be. And if you want that takeaway to be have some type of positive impact, you have to be positive all the time, regardless of what the outcome was. Because here's the thing: if that man and his wife were arguing when they pulled up there, and they would have saw Free Keith, and he would have got out the car saying something weird, maybe call her out her name, Free Keith's whole life would be different.
Right.
Facts. That's a fact. That's a God honest fact. That's a God's honest fact.
Yeah, that's why we kind of gotta model. That's why sometimes when people get at GI, I say stuff like, "Hey man, GI, listen, man, you know, we gotta model this thing," because what happens is even in the garden of success and successes, And the linear path sometimes that we're on towards a certain goal, we have to remember, if we deviate from that path of success for a moment, you never know who's watching. Like, if somebody say something to me and then I get outside of myself, a lot of people are going to remember that moment where Uncle Freezy went, you know what I'm saying, was unusual, right? As opposed to being particular. You know what I'm saying? DSJ, what's good, bro?
What's going on? Salute to everybody. You know, this, as I said in the chat, this is definitely the grown man panel. And I appreciate, you know what I'm saying, being able to, you know, sit in on this conversation. Of course, you know, just listening on and everything that you dropped, Free Keith, salute to you. The first thing that I thought was, again, I think the problem with the people that don't have, with the desire to have, feel like asking for a helping hand, right, can also be the things that backfire on them in some degree. For instance, you know, if you ask for a helping hand, right, you're trying to get this knowledge or whatever it is, whether it's a position or, you know, just financial stability, that it can be used against you, again, through prior experiences. For instance, if let's say, okay, you know, a girlfriend, you know what I'm saying, she buys you a shirt, something as simple as that. Y'all get into an argument and she throws it in your face that, well, there was a point when you couldn't even afford to buy this shirt that I bought you. And it's like, that's not the case. And sometimes that can be the things that also have, you know, lasting trauma, to the point where even something asking for help from a sense of bettering yourself can lead that mentality behind where, oh man, if I ask this guy for, I do not want to hear after we make this multi-million-dollar deal that he's the one that brokered it. Like, you introduced me to the guy that got. I don't want that to be the situation. And I think sometimes, you know, those are the trappings of those situations, because I hear you and I absolutely agree with you, right? But I also know that other side of it too. I listen to my friends and the situations that they're in, and it's like the asking for a helping hand thing. You know, again, the first thing you think is, well, why didn't you tell me about it? You know what I'm saying? I could have helped you out in that situation. Well, nah, I didn't want to bother you. And the key word of that is bother, because of traumatic experiences. And so I just wanted to say, you know, based off of what you said, that I would love, you know what I'm saying, again, just to get your thoughts on, I guess, the counter to everything that you said with what I'm presenting. How do you combat that in order to give somebody that helping?
You got to get to know yourself.
There you go.
I think also that kind of thing starts from early too.
Yep.
Like we think these things are positive, and I guess they can be if used correctly, but like they weren't used in any more way than, like, when you were young, your family don't got no money, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the other. Oh, I want these name brand kicks, ma. I want these name brand kicks to go to school, because like you're in school, everybody you know what I'm saying, you don't want to be made fun of, this, that, and the other.
Right.
Yo, nah, you're gonna have to get those yourself.
Right.
Facts.
All right. Like,
right.
It empowers you, it makes you stronger, but on the other side, it also makes you like, I'm not gonna ask people for stuff, I'm gonna just do it myself. Okay. And that works well at that level. But now when you're trying to get to the other level, it becomes a frustration, because everybody needs to ask somebody for something to get to the next level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, yes, without some proper guidance on those kind of things, it just makes you. So Delano, I agree with you. I agree with you. Like, it makes you a more resilient and self-sufficient person, but we sink into that self-sufficiency. And we think that you know what I'm saying, like we start to get programmed that, like, yo, I got to do everything myself, or I can't be asking people for help because I can't depend on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. I wanted to point something out as well, though. I'm sorry, real quick, Freezy. Okay. There's something that also occurs to me. I've been victim. I've not been victim. I've been I've done this myself, and it's glorifying and romanticizing the struggle of the hood.
Right.
Boom.
We gotta stop doing that.
Right.
We have to stop. I realized that in college, like I got to college. Yeah, I started in University of Buffalo and then transferred to Howard. But in both spots, I realized, like, yo, like those chicks, the girls from the South and from Cali, and like they come from families with money. All they were looking for was like dudes from New York who looked hood,
right,
who looked and acted hood. So what then happened is you got a bunch of dudes from good families and this, that, and the other, and now they want like stuff that they never did in high school because they was home studying and this, that, and the other. Now they in college acting like thugs, bro.
Everybody want to be Malibu's most wanted now.
But why though? But why? It's because it's like, yo, I've got a line brother. He was
part of it is the women. Part of it is the women. Keep the women start to accept that.
But why? But why do they do that? That's what I'm saying. Like it's like, because as men, I mean, we want to say alpha men and this, that, and the other, and blah 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 blah. But really, we go as women want us to go.
Right.
That's really the weird psychology of it. So like me and my friends, like the actual cats I grew up with from New York, we sitting back like, yo, like, look at this, like this dude, yo, you from New Rochelle, bro. Like you walking around like your shoulders touching the ground. You wearing big Avirexes, bro. Like you wore your entire to school. Like you ain't convincing me. Like, but I know what you're trying to do is convince those other people. But
bro,
like
you from Bayonne.
Son,
you from Bayonne. You from Hoboken.
And you ask all of them, like, yeah, I'm from the city. I'm from the where'd you go to high school? Well, yeah, I went away. Like, you ain't from the city, bro. Stop it.
They own and Hoboken should be kicking themselves because they should own half the city when they could have bought them properties up for $100,000 when nobody wanted it. Then September 11th happened, and now you can't live in Hoboken for less than $5,000 a month. That's what they should be kicking themselves.
That's what they should be doing.
But see, Cat's not thinking like that. Like these dudes, and the people I'm talking about, like, yo, they already come from good families. Their lives is already set. Like, yo, your parents is a doctor and a lawyer. You don't even have a loan that you're taking out for college. They playing it straight cheese. Like, oh, what you mean you a thug, bro? What you mean?
Right.
But you playing that role because it's romanticized. It's romanticized, and we got to stop doing that stuff. Like we got to. There's dudes with good families. Like, yo, like I would have been jealous of them. Like, yo, like, yeah, I would have loved to come up in your family. Jack and Jill, your father's a federal judge. Like, yo, but you feel bad about that coming in, interacting with the rest of us, and you got to dumb that down. We got to stop that stuff. Like, oh, if I speak incorrect sentences, I'm talking white.
Yeah,
you gotta stop that. Gotta stop that.
Gotta cut that out. But hey, but I just want to say something to the DSJ thing real quick, bro. You have never seen a one-man army win. One-man armies are destined to lose. That's a myth put out there by capitalists. They want you to. It's the casino effect that I mentioned. The casino owns the land, the building, the casino, the dealer, the cards, the table, and the air you breathe in. All of it. They own all of it. And you come in and you trying to beat them at their game. Bro, what we got to realize is, bro, you're not going to beat the casino. The game is set up for a lot of people to lose. So if you understand that mindset, well, you know what? Instead of, you know what? Is this $100,000 I'm getting from the bank, is it more important for me to lease a building for 2 years to try to start a business, or should I take that money and go to college with it? I mean, you're going to learn something either way. You're going to learn something either way. Now, do you go get you some paper to let everybody know that makes you an official? They're like, well, how do I know you know what you're doing? Well, I graduated from Howard with a bachelor's degree in such and such and such. And during that time, you know, I worked during the summers at such and such business doing such and such. I apprenticed in such and such. And now, you know, I'm here today because I'm ready to take that next step into doing such and such. Right. As opposed to, yeah, I own my own business. I own my own business and I failed. And I'm here putting, you know, trying to get mercy from the court of public opinion, so to speak. Which road would you rather go down? Some people say, well, I'd rather the jump start. I'd rather just jump out there and do the business. Guess what, though, boss? If you fail, you still owe that $100,000. Now your business is gone down the drain. You still owe that $100,000. You don't have nothing to put on the wall. Now you work in 2 jobs trying to pay that $100,000 back based off of you failing. And I'm not saying don't try because you'll fail, because nothing fails but a try. If you don't try, you won't be able to fail. But what I'm saying is the preparation, the steps that you take in your preparation dictate how you're going to go down this road.
Another thing, a very simple thing that I want to add for those who feel like not asking people for help. I know I've had that problem in the past, but when you really need help, you really need help. Nothing that we've learned, whether it was walking, talking, eating, we did on our own. There was someone to show us how to do those things. Put on our shoes, tie our shoes.
Bro, somebody pulled you out the womb.
Yes.
You've been getting help since you've been breathing.
Right. See, the hoodwink is to get you out there on your own. Because when there's more people together, you become a stronger force, right? If we all came together, not saying everyone is, but if we came together like Free Keith was speaking on earlier, all of the connections and people that we know, if we actually came together and not go to these outside sources for anything, because we have it inside, we have it in-house, we could be much stronger. But what they do is they pull people away, like, oh man, you don't want to be over here, we can help you do this. And then now you're the only face in the room, right? And you're like, damn, how come there's not much diversity here? They don't want
I also feel like we fall victim to the trappings of time because of the fact that everybody wants something instantaneously. If they see it done from somebody else's standpoint and, oh, it only took them such amount of time to do it, you expect that to be the same. That basically you expect that to be the standard, as opposed to that might have been the exception. So if you see somebody got it out in 6 months, they make X amount of dollars, you expect that to be your same result as well. As opposed to maybe he put in more hours. Maybe he sacrificed sleep. You know, maybe he sacrificed that extracurricular activity, that social life. We don't know the circumstances. We just know that the end result was the end result. And we don't take the time to understand what the steps were for that progression.
Okay.
Right.
Also, I would say too, like there's a weird thing like that we do. I think like mentally it's to protect ourselves, like to protect our own failings or like to excuse our own failings. Where a guy like Jay-Z or a woman like Oprah or like let's pick any like super wealthy Black person, like when they're at an attainable level, they're a hero. Like, oh, look at Oprah, look at where she's going. Look at Jay, like Jay's from the hood. He got a 10th grade education. Like, look at where he's going. Now they become billionaires and they're rich. You're looking at them, oh, they're in the Illuminati. And why is it easier to slip over to that, to make an excuse? Because it's easier to say that they did something or sacrificed, oh, he sacrificed his cousin and this, that, and the other, than to do the work that they needed to do to put in to get to where those guys got. Right. Like it's a way for us to excuse our own inability and inaction.
Right. Sometimes it could because sometimes your dream and your talent level don't line up.
That's fact.
Sorry. Like with me, I want to be a rapper, but I can't rap.
And if I'm not,
I want to be a singer and I can't sing, so I get it.
And you could become a better rapper, you could become a better singer, but if you're not willing to actually put the time it to take to build up the talent,
right,
then
that's a no-go from the start, right? Yeah.
From the start.
Right.
Hey,
I gotta get out here. Y'all gonna rock for a little bit?
Let me say one thing. And we can wrap unless you guys want to kick it.
I was
more.
actually cutting it at 10:30. Y'all, this is amazing.
Okay. All right. So let me say this. This is speaking to Keith's experience, seeing the man,
Hey, that's free,
family in the Aston Martin.
Keith's always free.
All right.
That's what he got on his social media.
No, he a whole out here. He a whole out here.
But let me explain it though. Let me explain it. It sound cool or this, that, and the other. But like honestly, like that's even all of the entrepreneurial ventures that I'm a part of or help like has some kind of free in it. Because my aim isn't riches, it's freedom.
Right.
I want that to be totally understood.
Right.
It is not riches. Like riches can come with it and whatever, and I'll be very much appreciative. But like freedom is where I'm getting to. Right. That is my main. That's the priority.
My bad, Chuck.
No, this is going to be it for Chuck. Just to bring it full circle. With a actual scripture, it says, "Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works, and to glorify your Father which is in heaven." Matthew 5:16. So that man doing what he did showed Keith his good works, right?
Sure,
now,
he did that. And now I don't know what he does. I can't call him a good person. He might be. I don't even know what he was. But like definitely it looked like good work. So like yeah, I would agree.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Vibes Live in the Morning with your host Chuck Allen, Uncle Freezy. We have the Ghetto Intellect, the CFO, Delano Stewart Jr., the real DSJ, and we have Free Keith coming from Guadalupe.
Hey, yo, don't forget Soul Finger 12 that was in the building, baby.
Yes, Soul Finger number 12 was in the building. Hey, man, if y'all like what y'all heard and y'all want to get down, guess what? We're going to be back here on Monday. So just tune in. It's going to be about 8:30-ish. But we're going to be here rocking, man. Strong black men with strong black opinions that we're going to kick it to y'all, giving y'all that knowledge, man.
And get those likes up.
Get them lights up, yo. Tell people get in the room, man, because now this is a thing now. Thank you for Chuck and to Freezy for sharing the platform with me.
This is way more valuable to us personally than even the Knicks chatter, just in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you guys coming through, dropping knowledge. Hey, whenever you're ready, you can take us out.
And anybody, can I say something real quick? Can I just say something real quick? Like, yo, like for real, like anybody who, I can't speak for anybody else on the panel, but my that's why I put the @ on my joint. Like I'm at Free Keith. If you have any questions or like you need some help or you want to talk about something further please hit me up. I'm open.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Reach out. Information is only an ask away. All you have to do is ask, you know. Again, man, this was a great panel. DSJ, you got anything else?
Nah, listen, I just enjoyed rocking with you brothers and again, just getting knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Being able to have this conversation is absolutely valuable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you brothers, man. Love you guys, man. This is good work.
Love you too.